The shattered engagement fairy lights strung across the terrace of the Mara mansion flickered like trapped fireflies, casting a golden glow over the engagement party. Ria adjusted the heavy embroidery of her crimson lahunga, her fingers trembling as she checked her reflection one last time. 3 years of love, of promises, of building dreams with Vikram tonight was supposed to be the beginning of forever. "You look beautiful, Betty," her mother whispered, pressing a kiss too. "Her temple Vikram is a lucky man." Ria forced a smile, though unease coiled in her stomach. Vikram had been distant for weeks, always on his phone, flinching when she touched him, his smiles never reaching his eyes. Pre-wedding jitters, she told herself. Nothing more. The party was in full swing when she noticed Vikram and Daya huddled near the rose bushes. Her sister's shoulders shook with silent sobs, and Vikram's hand gripped her waist, too intimate, too desperate. Ria's pulse spiked. "What's going on?" she asked, her voice barely audible over the music. They jerked apart. Dia's tear-streaked face crumpled further, and she fled without a word. Vikram stared at the ground, his jaw clenched. "Ria." His voice cracked. "I can't do this." The words slithered into her chest like poison. "I love her. It's always been her." Each syllable was a knife twist. The emerald engagement ring on her finger turned ice cold. "How long?" Ria's voice was eerily calm. Vikram didn't answer. He didn't need to. Around them, laughter and clinking glasses continued, oblivious to the devastation. Ria walked back inside, past the bewildered faces of guests, past the towering cake with their initials, past the photo wall of their memories. Upstairs, she locked herself in her childhood bedroom and slid the ring off. It glinted mockingly. In the moonlight, the next morning, she told her parents the wedding was off. Their shock, their pity, it suffocated her. 2 weeks later, Dia called. "I tried to fight it," she sobbed, "but I love him." "Please understand," Ria hung up. Forgiveness was a luxury she couldn't afford yet. That night, she packed her bags. Mumbai was a graveyard of broken dreams. Bangalore would be her rebirth. As the train pulled away from the station, Ria pressed her forehead to the window. The pain was raw, but beneath it simmered something new: resolve. Stronger, untouchable. The humid Bangalore air clung to Ria's skin as she pushed open the glass door of the Brood chapter, the cafe that had become her sanctuary. 6 months had passed since she left Mumbai, and in that time she had built a fragile new life, one defined by work, solitude, and the quiet hum of a city that didn't know her scars. She settled into her usual corner table. Laptop open, fingers flying over the keyboard as she fine-tuned a logo for a boutique hotel. The work was good, better than good. It was the only thing that kept the memories at bay. "Mind if I sit here?" The voice was low, smooth, and unfamiliar. Ria glanced up. A man stood beside the empty chair across from her, holding a steaming cup of black coffee. Tall, with sharp features and dark eyes that held a quiet intensity. He wore a simple white shirt sleeves rolled up to reveal lean forearms, and a watch that looked expensive, but understated. Not a local. Something about him felt different. "It's a free country," she said, though she shifted her papers slightly to make space. Sat, pulling out a book, The Art of Innovation, and Ria caught herself staring. Most people in cafes were glued to their phones or laptops. This man read actual paper. Silence settled between them, comfortable rather than awkward. Ria returned to her design, but her focus kept slipping. She could feel his presence like a low current in the air, steady and unassuming. An hour passed. Then, too, when she finally closed her laptop, she realized he had been watching her. Not in a creepy way, more like curiosity. "Finished?" he asked. "For now." She rubbed her temples. "Deadlines are brutal. You're a designer." Observant. She arched a brow, his lips quirked. "The way you curse at your screen when the alignment's off gave it away." A startled laugh escaped her. "Guilty." He extended a hand. "Kabir." She hesitated. Giving her name felt like opening a door she'd sworn to keep locked, but his gaze was patient, unpressured. "Ria?" His grip was warm, firm. Just long enough to feel real, not long enough to linger. "You come here often?" he asked. "Every day, same." And that was it. No probing questions, no forced small talk. Just two strangers sharing space. The next afternoon, he was there again. Same table. Same book this time. When Rhea sat, he slid a cup of chai toward her. "You looked like you needed it." She blinked. "How did you know I drink chai? You always order it at 3 p.m. The fact that he'd noticed something so small sent an odd flutter through her chest. They fell into a rhythm. Days turned into weeks. Sometimes they exchanged a few words, comments on the weather. A book recommendation, a muttered complaint about Wi-Fi speeds. Other times they worked in companionable silence. Then, one rainy evening, everything shifted. Rhea's phone buzzed, a client demanding last-minute changes. She groaned, rubbing her eyes. Kabir looked up. "Problem? Just the usual?" "Make it pop, whatever that means." He studied her for a moment, then reached into his bag and slid a sketchbook across the table. "Try this." Rhea flipped it open. Inside were rough but brilliant concept sketches, bold, modern, alive. Breath caught. "You're a designer too?" "No." He smirked. "I just know what pop looks like." She laughed, and for the first time in months, it didn't feel forced. Then came the email. Subject: Design Opportunity Singanya Group. Her pulse spiked. The Singanya Group was a billion-dollar conglomerate. Their projects were legendary. "Been impressed by your portfolio and would like to discuss a rebranding. It's a project for our women's initiative." She read it 3 times before it sank in. "Good news?" Kabir's voice cut through her daze. She showed him the email. His expression didn't change. "You should take it," he said simply. "It's huge. What if I'm not ready?" He leaned forward, eyes locking onto hers. "You're more ready than you think." There was something in his tone of certainty that unnerved her. "How do you know?" A slow smile curved his lips. "Because I've seen your work." And then it hit her. Too familiar to knowing. Her stomach dropped. "Who are you, Kabir?" "I..." Exhaled, as if he'd been waiting for this moment. "Kabir Singanya." The name crashed over her like a wave. Sing Anaya, as in the Singanya Group. Her client, her billionaire cafe stranger. Rhea's fingers tightened around her coffee cup, the ceramic suddenly scorching against her skin. Kabir Singanya. The name echoed in her skull like a gunshot. "You," her voice came out sharper than she intended. "You've been lying to me this whole time?" Kabir didn't flinch. "I didn't lie. I just didn't tell you everything. That's the same thing." She shoved her chair back, the legs screeching against the floor. A few heads turned in their direction. Cab lowered his voice. "Rhea, sit down. Let me explain why." "So you can manipulate me some more." The words tasted bitter, too familiar. Just like Vikram, his jaw tensed. "I wasn't evaluating you for the project when we met. That came later. Convenient. I go to this cafe to escape work. To be just." "Kabir." He raked a hand through his hair, frustration flickering in his dark eyes. "When I saw your designs, I recognized your talent. That's it." Rhea crossed her arms. "And the email? Did you orchestrate that too?" "My team found your portfolio independently. I only realized it was yours after they sent me the shortlist." She wanted to believe him, but trust had burned her before. "So what now?" she challenged. "You expect me to just take this project like nothing happened?" Kabir leaned forward, his gaze unyielding. "I expect you to make the best decision for your career. Not because of me, in spite of me." The intensity in his voice sent a shiver down her spine. She took the project, not for him. For herself. The Singanya Group's offices were a sleek, glass-and-steel fortress in the heart of Bangalore. Rhea walked in with her head high, portfolio clutched under her arm, determined to prove she belonged here, billionaire or not. Kabir greeted her in the conference room, all business. No trace of the man from the cafe. "The Women's Entrepreneurship Initiative needs a complete rebrand," he said, sliding a folder toward her. Logo, website, promotional materials. We want it bold, fearless. Ria flipped through the brief. Targeting women rebuilding their lives after setbacks? Yes. His gaze lingered on her for a heartbeat too long. Second chances matter. Her throat tightened. Was that a dig? A coincidence? She forced herself to focus. I'll need 2 weeks for. Initial concepts. Take 3. He stood. And Ria? She looked up. Don't hold back. The work consumed her. Late nights. Endless revisions. Coffee-fueled epiphanies at 3 a.m. Kabir was relentless in his feedback. Not cruel, but exacting. He pushed her harder than any client ever had. You're playing it safe, he said one evening, tossing her third draft back across the table. I've seen your personal work. This isn't you, Ria bristled. This is what your team asked for. I didn't hire you to give me what I asked for. His voice dropped. I hired you to show me what I missed. Their eyes locked. A challenge. A dare. Something electric crackled between them. Ria grabbed her sketchbook and tore out the page she'd been too afraid to show a jagged, fiery design, raw with emotion. Rebirth through fire. Kabir studied it. Then slowly, he smiled. This is the one. The tension between them shifted. Strictly professional meetings stretched into conversations about art. Travel, the absurdity of corporate jargon. One stormy evening, trapped in the office by a sudden downpour, Kabir ordered dinner. They ate takeout at the conference table, laughing over terrible reality TV playing on his laptop. You're different here? Ria mused. Not the billionaire CEO. He smirked. And you're not the guarded designer who scowls at her coffee. She threw a napkin at him. I do not scowl. You do. Like it personally offended you. Their laughter faded into comfortable silence. Then Kabir's phone buzzed. His expression darkened. What's wrong? Ria asked. He hesitated. Family dinner tonight, my father's. Particular about attendance. She recognized that tone, the weight of expectations. Go, she said softly. I'll finish up here. Kabir stood, then paused. You could come. Ria's breath hitched. What? As my designer, my father would love your work. His voice was casual. But his eyes betrayed something else. Nervousness? This was dangerous, blurring lines. But the part of her that still dared to hope whispered, say yes. The Singhani estate was a sprawling palace of marble and glass, lit by the golden hues of sunset. Ria clutched the strap of her portfolio bag, her stomach twisting as the car pulled up the manicured driveway. This was a mistake. She shouldn't have agreed to come, shouldn't have let Kabir's quiet invitation chip away at her defenses. But something in his eyes, that rare flicker of vulnerability, had made it possible to refuse. The door swung open before she could knock. Ah, the famous designer. A tall, silver-haired man stood in the foyer, his sharp features mirroring Kabir's, but his smile colder. Aditya Singhania, the patriarch, the legend. Sir, Ria said, forcing her voice steady. None of that. He waved a hand. If Kabir trusts you, your family. The word family hung in the air. Weighted Kabir appeared behind his father, his usual composure replaced by something tense. You made it. Traffic was hell, she lied. His lips quirked, as if he knew she'd been pacing her apartment for an hour. Debating whether to bail? Dinner was a battlefield disguised as a meal. Aditya dissected Kabir's business decisions between bites of saffron-infused biryani. His sister Priya smirked into her wineglass whenever Kabir bristled. And through it all, Ria sat silently, absorbing the undercurrents of old resentments and unspoken expectations. Ria, Aditya said abruptly, turning the spotlight on her. Tell me, why should I trust a freelancer with my company's image? The table went still. Kabir's knuckles whitened around his fork. Father, no, it's a fair question. Ria set down her glass. Shouldn't trust me, Aditya raised a brow. Trust isn't given, it's earned. She met his gaze. So let me earn it. A beat of silence. Then Aditya threw his head back and laughed. I like her. Kabir exhaled, his shoulders relaxing just slightly. Later on the moonlit terrace, Ria finally breathed. You handled him well, Kabir murmured, leaning against the railing beside her. Your father's not subtle. He's testing you. For what? Kabir hesitated. Then, to see if you'll run? The unspoken words lingered between them. Like others have. Ria studied his profile, the stubborn set of his jaw, the shadows under his eyes. The weight of being Odysseus Ingenious. Air was etched into every line of his body. You never told me why you hired me, she said softly. Kabir turned, his gaze searing into hers. Because your work has fire, and I needed that. She swallowed. For the project, for me. Admission hung between them, raw and undeniable. Ria's pulse roared in her ears. This was dangerous. This was Ria. A voice, familiar, hated cut. Through the night, she whirled. Vikram stood in the doorway, his arm draped around Dia's waist. The world tilted. What the hell are you doing here? Kabir demanded, stepping forward. Vikram's smirk was venomous. Aditya invited us. Small world, isn't it? Dia wouldn't meet Ria's eyes. Aditya appeared behind them, clapping Vikram on the shoulder. Ah, you've met Kabir's designer. Vikram's, our new investment partner. Ria's blood turned to ice. Kabir's voice was lethally calm. Father, a word. Now, but it was too late. Vikram's gaze slid over Ria, slow and deliberate. Still. Chasing rich men, I see. The terrace blurred. Then Kabir moved. 1 step. 2. Until he loomed over Vikram. His voice a whisper of steel. Apologize. Vikram paled but held his ground. Or what? Kabir smiled. It wasn't pleasant. Try me. The air crackled with violence. Ria grabbed Kabir's arm. Don't. He tensed under her touch but didn't pull away. Vikram scoffed. Please. Needing someone to fight your battles enough? Aditya's voice cracked like a whip. Vikram, my office. Now. As they disappeared inside, Dia finally looked at Ria. I didn't know you'd be here. Ria's laugh was hollow. Funny, that's exactly what you said when I caught you with him. Dia flinched. Kabir's hand found the small of Ria's back, warm and steadying. Let's go. She let him lead her away, her heart pounding, her past and present colliding in. A storm of fury and betrayal. In the car, Ria finally shattered. Tears burned her eyes. I can't do this. Kabir gripped the steering wheel, his jaw clenched. I'll cut ties with Vikram. It's not just him.
Ow.
She dragged a hand through her hair. This sits too much. Your family. My past. It's all just a disaster waiting to happen. Kabir turned to her, his gaze fierce. Tell me to walk away and I will. Her breath caught. But don't run because you're scared, he whispered. Not when we're just getting started. Voice undid her. Ria closed her eyes. Fight or flight. Her entire life. She'd chosen flight. But maybe, just maybe, it was time to fight. The penthouse was silent except for the rhythmic ticking of the antique clock on Kabir's wall. Ria stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows, staring at the city lights below. Her reflection fractured in the glass. Fight or flight. Kabir stood behind her, close enough to touch, but she could feel the careful distance he kept giving her space, even now. You don't have to stay, he said quietly. Ria turned. His usually immaculate shirt was rumpled, sleeves shoved up to his elbows, hair disheveled from running his hands through it too many times. He looked human, not the untouchable billionaire, just a man who'd nearly thrown a punch for her. That's the problem, she whispered. I want to stay. His breath hitched. She stepped closer. But I need to know, why did you really bring me into this project? Kabir didn't flinch. At first, because you were talented, and now, his gaze burned into hers, because I couldn't stay away. The raw honesty in his voice unraveled her. She closed the last inch between them, her fingers curling into his shirt. This is a terrible idea. He cupped her face, his thumb brushing her cheek. The worst. And then he kissed her. It wasn't gentle. It was fire and desperation, a collision of lips and teeth and pent-up longing. Ria melted into him, her hands sliding up his chest, gripping his shoulders like he was the only solid thing in a world that kept spinning too fast. When they broke apart, Kabir rested his forehead against hers. "Tell me this isn't a mistake," she laughed, breathless. "It absolutely is," he grinned, that rare, unrestrained smile that made her chest ache. Good. The next morning, reality came crashing back. Ria's phone buzzed incessantly. News alerts, messages, missed calls. Singanya Group's new designer linked to scandal. Vikram Malhotra exposes Ria Mehra's past. Her stomach dropped. She clicked on the link. There, splashed across every business and gossip site, was her name, along with Vikram's. Exclusive interview about how she'd manipulated her way into the Singanya empire. Kabir snatched the phone from her hand, his expression darkening as he read. He's lying, but people will believe it. Her voice was hollow. I'm the ex who got dumped. He's the golden boy investor. Kabir's jaw tightened, not for long. The confrontation happened in Aditya's office. Vikram leaned against the desk, smug. Just protecting your interests, Mr. Singanya. You wouldn't want your reputation tied to enough. Kabir's voice was lethally calm. He tossed a folder onto the desk. Financial discrepancies in your last 3 deals. Fraudulent reports. Emails proving you've been siphoning funds. Vikram paled. That's evidence, Aditya cut in, flipping through the documents. His gaze lifted to Vikram, icy. You're finished. Dia, standing in the corner, let out a choked sob. Vikram. He didn't even look at her. Ria stepped forward. You were never the victim, Vikram. It's just a coward who couldn't stand seeing me move on. His mask cracked. You think he jabbed a finger at Kabir won't destroy you too? Kabir moved before anyone could react. He grabbed Vikram's collar, yanking him close. If you ever come near her again, I won't stop at ruining your career. The threat hung in the air, unmistakable. Vikram fled. Dia hesitated, tears streaming down her face. Ria shook her head. We're done. Later, on the rooftop of Kabir's penthouse, Ria finally exhaled. You didn't have to do that, she said. Kaver handed her a glass of wine. Yes, I did. She studied him, the stubborn set of his shoulders, the quiet intensity in his eyes. This man who'd fought for her when she'd forgotten how to fight. For herself, what happens now? She asked. He took her hand, lacing their fingers together. Whatever you want, she smiled. I want to finish the project. And after. Ria leaned in, brushing her lips against his.
Now we'll figure it out.
For the first time in years, the future didn't terrify her, because this time she wasn't alone. Epilogue. 6 months later, the Women's Entrepreneurship Initiative launch party was in full swing, the venue alive with music and laughter. Ria's designs, bold, unapologetic, alive, were emblazoned on every screen and banner. Kabir found her in the crowd, pulling her into a quiet corner. Happy, she grinned, ecstatic. He kissed her, slow and deep, oblivious to the cameras flashing around them. Let the world see. Somewhere across the city, Vikram's empire was crumbling, and Ria, she was just getting started.